Welcome to another Explainer. Today we're doing something a little different. We are breaking down exclusive footage and first-hand accounts from a place that very few outsiders have ever been allowed to see. Okay, let's just dive right into it. We're looking at CCOT. It's a mega prison in El Salvador, and it's widely considered the absolute strictest, most heavily guarded facility on the entire planet. We're going to unpack exactly how this place operates, the sheer staggering scale of its construction, and the frankly chilling reality of the individuals housed inside. So the crucial point we have to ask ourselves right off the bat is, what is actually hidden inside the strictest prison in the world? Right? We're talking about a facility custom-built to hold individuals who are described as the absolute most lethal and psychopathic members of society. Guys who will casually admit to dozens of murders without blinking. Today, we're looking at the unvarnished facts of what it really means to be locked away in a place designed to ensure you never, ever leave. Section 1. The Fortress of CECOT. To wrap your head around this prison, you kind of first have to understand how it was populated so incredibly fast. 60,000. Just a few years ago, the individuals sitting in CECOT right now were roaming free. But the government initiated a massive, totally unprecedented sweep. In literally a matter of months, they captured over 60,000 suspected criminals. The source material describes night after night of trucks just rolling up, unloading thousands of chained men, sitting head down in total submission to the heavily armed guards. And to hold that massive influx, they built this. CECOT sits on a sprawling 410-hectare plot of land. I mean, that physical footprint is absolutely intimidating. It consists of 8 colossal separate modules, and each one is designed to hold thousands of inmates. It's not just a prison, it's effectively a small, heavily fortified city that's entirely cut off from the rest of the world. Escape is mathematically impossible. Each pair of modules is surrounded by 2 3-meter-high walls topped with barbed wire. But the ultimate barrier is the outer perimeter. We're talking about a gargantuan 12-meter-high electrified wall, watched relentlessly by 12 strategically scattered watchtowers. Once you cross that threshold, you are completely sealed in. Inside those walls, you find sentences that totally defy human lifespans. For example, one inmate highlighted in the source is serving a 772-year sentence. 772 years! His charges? Aggravated homicide, extortion, illicit trafficking, and carrying weapons of war. These are heavily tattooed gang members, adorned with demonic faces and tombstones inked right on their skin. It's a permanent testament to the violent, terrifying culture they once controlled on the outside. Getting inside this place, even as a rare visitor, the security protocol is absolute. You pass through a full-body scanner that looks right down to your bones to ensure absolutely zero contraband makes it through the gates. And for the inmates, there is zero contact with the outside world. They have no right to family visits. Ever. For a lot of them, the footage in an explainer like this one might literally be the very first and only time their families ever see them again. Section 2. Life inside the modules. The sheer math of their living conditions is pretty harsh. Each module contains 32 cells. Inside every single one of those cells, they pack in 80 prisoners. There are no mattresses, there are no pillows, the inmates sleep on bare, stacked metal structures, they share a single corner toilet, and they are constantly spied on by guards from walkways up above. The source actually notes the overwhelming, dense smell of unwashed humanity in these incredibly crowded spaces. Their daily routine is strictly regimented and really brief. At 10 a.m., a group is allowed out for Bible study with a priest. At 10:30 a.m., another group gets physical exercise with a trainer. By 11 a.m., recreation is over. That is exactly 1 hour out of their cell per day. For the remaining 23 hours, they are in total lockdown. In fact, guards have to watch them constantly, because even during that short recreation time, inmates try to send covert hand signals to the outside world to order hits or exact revenge. Hygiene is just an incredibly frenetic process. Picture this. An entire population block of inmates is given a grand total of just 50 minutes to shower. Not 50 minutes per person, 50 minutes for the whole group. It creates this highly nervous, accelerated environment where men are frantically washing themselves out of open basins before their time is up. And the diet is just as uncompromising. The daily menu literally never changes. It is strictly rice, pasta, and tortilla. Absolutely no meat. They eat using their bare hands, and they're responsible for washing their own plates when they finish. It is pure, basic sustenance designed just to keep them alive, and nothing more. You know, it's a stark contrast to the power these men used to wield. On the outside, these gang members operated under a brutal mandate they forced upon the public. See, hear, and stay silent. If an innocent civilian witnessed a crime and spoke up, they were killed. Now, the very men who enforced that terrifying rule of silence are the ones trapped in a rigidly controlled, absolutely silent existence themselves. Section 3. The extreme isolation cells.
So what happens if they break the rules inside the prison, like attacking another prisoner? Well, this is what awaits them. A room with absolutely no light, total pitch-black darkness. The only furniture is a single cold cement slab. An inmate will spend 30 straight days in this room. Just try to mentally imagine that for a second. 30 days of complete sensory deprivation as a punishment. It is a wildly extreme measure for extreme individuals.
Section 4. The mind of a gangster. To conduct a rare interview with a high-ranking gang leader known as Psycho, reporters were actually separated from him by a heavy grate, with over 60 guards on super high alert just watching his every move. When asked why he was in maximum security, Psycho's response was chillingly calm. He flatly stated, "I'm here for being a gang leader and for killing more than 30 people." When they asked if he even remembered the names of his victims, he admitted they often just killed without asking. There is a complete, total absence of remorse. We also get a glimpse into the endless cycle of violence that created this whole situation. Psycho explained his motive for joining the gang life. A rival faction hurt his mother. In response, he made a vow to hunt down and kill those rivals wherever he found them. It's a true testament to the deep-seated blood feuds that completely paralyzed the country's streets for decades. Perhaps the most striking takeaway from this interview is the impossibility of rehabilitation for inmates like him. Psycho openly admits, "I chose this life," and he follows it up with a terrifying truth. If he were ever to get out, he would do the exact same things all over again. They chose their destiny, and they fully understand they are going to remain behind these walls forever. Section 5. The ultimate cost. If we zoom back out for a second, we are left with a really stark contrast. Consider the inmate's reality: permanent confinement, eating basic carbs with their hands, entirely cut off from their families. During the interview, Psycho actually wistfully mentioned just wanting to eat a burger. Now compare that to the reality you have right now: the freedom to go to the movies, grab that burger, and just live without the constant fear of gang violence dictating your every move. That freedom is the direct result of these extreme measures. The government's crackdown has fundamentally altered the nation. The streets outside CECOT's 12-meter walls have drastically transformed, making El Salvador statistically the safest country in Latin America. So, we end on a really complex note. The source material presents us with a deeply polarizing reality. The safety of millions has been secured, for sure, but it was achieved through the permanent, absolute deprivation of tens of thousands of individuals in conditions that completely challenge our standard definitions of imprisonment. So, does the price of becoming the safest country justify the extreme nature of this confinement? I'll leave that for you to decide. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the world around you.